Book 101's all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest, one of her advocacy empowering authors to build influence, impact, and income by transforming their stories into high quality books that grow authority, credibility, and visibility, none other than Miss Teresa Rodriguez.
Hello, world. Hello, Daniel.
Welcome, Miss Teresa on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yeah, so I'm a best-selling author. My first book was published by Penguin. It was about solo travel for women. Fly Solo: The 50 Best Places on Earth for a Girl to Travel Alone. It's in 4 different languages. My second book, Body, Mind, and Solo, was picked up, and I was able to do a TEDx talk about that and how to empower yourself by traveling the world alone. And then I started helping other people write their books. And
Mm.
yeah, so it's been an incredible journey of getting people stories out into the world. And I absolutely love it.
Incredible journey indeed. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And congratulations for being a best selling author. And today let's talk about behind the book, how authors build influence, impact, and income through publishing.
Yeah.
So, the why before the what. Many people think writing book is the goal. You argue it's a tool for an
Mhm.
aspiring author. What are the critical strategic questions they need to answer before they write the first chapter about the influence, impact, and income they seek?
Oh my God, that's such a great question, Daniel. The first thing they need to do is figure out who their audience is. So many people are like,
Yes,
I've got a book in me. And I'm like, great, who's going to read
read.
that book? And so the first thing they need to figure out is who's their audience. So once they figure that out, then we can figure out where the North Star is and then create all the direction towards that North Star.
North Star. I like that, Miss Teresa. The North Star. Beyond a bestseller list, the traditional metric of success is often a bestseller status. How do you define a more meaningful, sustainable win for an author in today's landscape?
That's another great question. So the bestseller status happens really quickly and it disappears
Very
very
fast.
quickly as well because it's like the second that book hits bestseller, somebody else is going to take that role. But you can always say that you're a bestseller once you're a bestseller.
True.
The thing about books is their power to create purpose and their power to share a story, be it fiction or nonfiction, that resonates with people. So, for example, you take books like Joe Dispenza, who is all about, inspiration and getting your life on the right path. But then you take books like The Hunger Game, which is all fiction, but it really teaches you story about perseverance and how to stick to your guns when you believe in something greater than just yourself. So books, both nonfiction and fiction, can play a really powerful role in how people can perceive life.
Hmm. How to perceive life. Yes, definitely. The audience versus the first book first. The phrase build the audience before you build the book is a common advice. What was the process actually look like for a professional without a pre-existing platform?
That's a great question. So with a professional or somebody who doesn't have a pre-existing platform, they need to really, once they figure out what their North Star is. So, for example, if it is let's just take a dietitian who really has a lot of great insight on the best ways to eat depending on your body type. She or he would need to start to share this insight in small bite-sized pieces on Facebook and on Instagram. As much as we don't like social media is a great free platform that can start building that message for these people who want to become experts. What's really great about having a book, it credentializes you as an expert.
Hmm. An expert. I like that. So, Ms. Teresa, the MVP book. How can an author apply the minimum viable product concept from the startup world to their book project to test the ideas and build momentum without a decade of effort?
Yeah, that's right now the world is really changing. And what I am super excited about is the possibilities of AI. A lot of authors are very afraid of AI. Publishers are afraid of AI. And the reason why is because they think, oh, there's going to be robots writing best-selling books. The truth is, they're
Hmm.
still robots. They're not capable of the intuitive space that humans actually live in, the way that we feel, the way that we project, the way that we have hunger pains. So, for example, if you take our dietitian who wants to write a book, she can like put in her recipes and her thoughts into AI and it's going to generate content for her. But it's going to be lacking is the way a hunger pang feels, the way you feel after you eat strawberries versus cake, the way that you can interpret and sit in your body and experience food. So, as much as AI is an incredible tool, people who want to become authors need to learn how to use it as an augmentation, as something that's going to support their message, but is not going to drive their message. And I think that is the key.
Yes, people, that's the key to success. Listen to Miss Teresa. The mechanics of influence and impact, the credibility catalyst. Beyond the cliche of being an author, how does a strategically positioned book specifically open doors to speaking, consulting, or media opportunities that were previously closed?
The great thing about media is that they're always looking for new content. Everything from morning television shows to radio to newspapers and magazines, they're all wanting more content. And what is so great is once you have a book, you can become number one, an expert in that space. And number two, the media is going to reach out and try to find you. And you also have to create that platform where you can be found. So, for example, when you look at healthy week eating, creating segments about, oh, what we're going to do before school starts is create segments of how to pack your kids lunch. Or maybe it's the new year, creating segments about what should you do for the new year if you're going to want to lose weight. So we're still taking the context of what this dietitian who wants to write a book is, and we can put it into the context of what is happening throughout the year. So January could be food that supports your New Year's resolutions. And then February could be romantic food choices that are aphrodisiacs. So see how once you get a book, you can create the platform with different segment ideas.
It's more powerful to be a big voice in a small, defined pond or to compete in a broad popular category. How does an author identify and own their true niche?
So it goes back to that North Star, right, Daniel? So once you know what that North Star is, so if we take the dietitian example, her North Star is going to be food, right? And how
Yes.
people consume food. So everything that she says, everything that she focuses on is going to be the 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 food space. She's not going to talk about outfits to wear for summer. She's not going to tell you where to go for vacation. She's going to be specific about food. Now, that caveat could be she could say the 5 to 10 top restaurants in California that support your food health, your gut health, your or spas to go to if you want to reset your gut biome or things like that. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, Mr. Russell. So, what is Liberty Press all about?
So Liberté Press, because I was in the publishing industry with a traditional publisher, I learned that process of what it was like to go through publishing a book. Then I spent almost 2 decades in magazines, and I love the magazine world where you're getting new information on a monthly, weekly basis. But those two worlds don't ever collide together. And then I also love the salon idea where authors and thought leaders get together and share ideas, both online and offline. So, what I've created is my dream job. We publish traditional books. We also have the online magazine where you're at right now. And then we also host salons specifically for women who want to become authors.
Hmm. Well, congratulations, Mr. Reza, for Liberty. Looking for more success. Leveraging the launch. The book launch is often seen as a finish line. How do you refrain it as the starting pistols or long term campaign of influence?
Wow. So the book's launch is actually the culmination of all the work that you did to that point, and it's a celebration. It is
Hmm.
congratulations, your baby has been birthed. It's like a child, you actually have to keep going with your baby. You can't just say, okay, my book's done. I had the big book launch. I'm just going to wait for the publisher to sell the books. It doesn't work like that. Just like a child, you need to feed it, you need to teach it, you need to share it. And so while the book launch is a very powerful and most wonderful day of authors' lives and their careers, there's so much more that needs to happen, such as going on podcasts like yours, Daniel, sharing their book, sharing the reason why they wrote their book, and going back to this dietitian, giving you ideas on how to eat better for the new year, etc.
Yes, indeed. People marketing is the hardest thing to do. Once you written a book, you need to market every day. Partnership and alliances. What are
Mhm.
the creative, non obvious ways authors can partner with organizations, brand, or other influencers to amplify their book's message and their own authority?
Well, let's go back to our dietitian as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
If she is now building a community on Facebook or Instagram, she can reach out to companies like Hungry Root, for example, who does nutritional delivery of food. She can reach out to supplement companies and ask for partnerships. So there's a lot of different ways that you can take your book and leverage it with partners and other corporations that could actually help you pay for things as well. So, for example, one of the big things that I love to promote with my authors is getting involved with associations. If it's a female author, then joining associations that are female-based, female business owners, um, NABO, National Association of Business Owners, things like that, where then they can do talks and then sell their book on location at conferences and events.
Royalty myth versus reality. Let's demystify author income. For most professional experts, what the percentage of their total revenue generated by the book actually come from the direct book sales versus the opportunities it creates?
So there's two parts here, as you mentioned. The first is the opportunities, which are going to get leveraged by having a book. There's no doubt about that. That once you have a book and you are a an author, people are going to want to know who you are and what you wrote about. Then you have the other side, which is how much royalties are you going to actually make off a book. Now, of course, if you become a bestseller like I was, you're going to make money off of it, correct? But that
Yes.
also depends on how well you market yourself and you market your book. So that's when things like your partnerships, you can really leverage and make more money doing things like that. But it's really based on one, the relationship you have with, if you have a literary agent, you go through a traditional publisher. If you do a hybrid model where you're sharing royalties and revenues with a hybrid publisher, or if you self-published on your own.
Hmm. Interesting, Mr. Raza. The business card book. If the book is effectively high value business card, what is the concrete process for converting a reader into a client, customer, or subscriber?
So that's another fabulous question. I'm working with the Caviar Company right now, and we are finishing up a gorgeous book called Caviar Dreams. And what that has opened up for her is we have been able to reach out to 10 of the Michelin starred chefs that use her caviar in their cooking. So
Mm-hmm.
that has engaged them to be interested in the book. It's also engaged a larger community of people that not necessarily love caviar or understand caviar or have ever tasted caviar, but they love coffee table books. So you can see how while there's just this one little area that she works in, which is caviar, we've now expanded her reach with all of the different chefs that use her caviar, as well as people who love books and love coffee table books.
Yes, indeed. Can I be, let's say, feature author, not feature author, my chef author of the month that you talking about, the one publishing that caviar.
Oh, yeah.
I want him to be my guest on Food 101.
Yeah, it's,
Please.
Kyle from Single Thread, who is their restaurant was voted the number one restaurant in the world. So yeah, he
Wow.
would be delighted.
Amazing. Please do
Yeah.
connect Mr. Raza and I will feature him on Food 101 as my feature author, on a feature chef, I should say.
Yes,
Because
because the
on Book
author
One,
is Petra,
yeah,
and she's also absolutely
author.
incredible, and she could really teach you and your listeners and a lot about caviar and the difference between caviar and roe. And that's what's so great about the book. It's an educational
Hmm.
book. So when people are like, "Oh, well, I don't eat caviar," you don't need to eat caviar to enjoy caviar or to actually understand what caviar is.
I love caviar. More expensive one. Hybrid publishing clarity with the option from traditional to self to hybrid publishing. How should an author think about the choice of not which is best, but which the best serves may specific goals for influence and income?
So let's talk first about traditional publishers, because traditional publishers will not take you unless you already have an author platform. And the great thing about traditional publishers is if you do have an author platform, then you're going to get paid an advance up front. That might be the only money that you make off of the book. And if you're okay with that, then that's great. What I've heard lately with traditional publishers is that they're not doing as much marketing and promotions and public relations as they used to, a decade ago. So you're still going to be responsible for getting out there and selling your book. If you really believe in your book and you know that you've already got an incredible platform and a lot of followers, then you might want to think about a hybrid or self-publishing model where you're going to keep all of the royalties. So just to put it in perspective, say for example, our dietitian went with
Yes.
a a traditional publisher and they said, "Hey, if you're pay you 5,000 to make 50,000 copies." If that if they sell that book, that her book for say $15, if you do the math on 15 times 20,000, then you roll back all of the costs to actually produce it, the publisher is going to make a sufficient amount of money off of that. But if she's capable of doing that on her own, printing out those 20,000 copies and keeping that money, she's going to make a lot more money, like 5 times as much money.
5 times for sure. And Mr. Raza asks, best-selling author, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
So my short term is to build our Liberté Ladies network, which you can find on our website under the Liberté Salon, the Liberté Ladies. And that's going to be a place where women can come and we will go through the writing process together as a group throughout the month. So that's my short term because I have so many women who want me to help them. Well, men and women who want me to help them write their books, but I don't have the bandwidth to ghostwrite, a dozen books a month. And so that's my short term. And then long term is to find fantastic authors who are ready to get their book published and have great stories.
Fantastic authors, yes. And good luck to your goals, Mr. Raza. And looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be like you? Mr. Rosa?
So my advice is that writing is a daily process. You can't just write a few words one day and say, "Oh, well, I have a book idea and I'm going to write a book." It actually takes work and it takes a daily practice of committed to writing X amount of time or X amount of pages every day until I get this book done. The other thing is a book is not just one draft. It takes around 7 different drafts and edits going through to actually get the final product. So you have to be really, really, really patient with yourself.
Patient is virtue, people. And thank you for that advice, Mr. Rosa. And can you please recommend a book of books that influence your journey?
Okay, well, I have some here. So the first one and is from our author Shannon Michelle, Step into Your Miracle, which she talks about her near-death experience, losing her memory and then recovering from that. But so great, it's a four-color book and it's got beautiful quotes about just resilience and trauma. So it's a great read for people, especially in the new year, who have experienced trauma and they're wanting to figure out how to heal through it. She gives some really great tips and keys and processes to do that. And then one of our other authors is Joe Ryman Scott, who wrote this book at age 96 years old. And
96.
yeah, 96. And it is
Wow.
the story of her life, almost a century, about how she started in South Dakota as a little farm girl and worked her way up of creating one of the most respected festivals, art festivals in the world at Fairbanks in Fairbanks, Alaska. So that's also just a really great read. And she's so incredible because what she did is that she put in at the end of every chapter little QR codes. So
Mm-hmm.
use your phone and click on the QR codes and get some pictures or videos of her throughout that whatever she was talking about in that chapter.
Wow, interesting. And thank you for that recommended books, Miss Teresa. So, how do you track and measure the soft returns of a book, like strengthen relationships, unexpected invitations, or enhance personal brand, and don't show up on a sales report?
So it really depends on the author, and what they want to accomplish. It might be a legacy piece. A lot of our authors want to create something beautiful that they can sell in their boutiques and in their stores, while others want to share a story. But at the core of it all, there's always a purpose, there's always a message and the meaning that is really substantial and fill.
Hello, Miss Teresa. Are we having a glitch? I think we're still connected. Are we still
Yes,
connected? Yeah. So before
yes.
we wrap up our discussion for today, Miss Teresa, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in third season, and my book 101 review is sixth season this year as well. Comedy 101 third season, and Mob Food 101 in the sixth season as well. Geography 101 Love Letters, Movie 101 Review, Music 101, our fifth season, Science 101, Sex 101 in
Wow, you're
its
busy.
third season. Busy, busy indeed. And my baby podcast, Trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and of course, my Bible Verses 101. Now, please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Raza, Legacy Lens. If someone views the book as a part of their professional legacy, what are the steps to ensure it remains relevant, discoverable, or influential for years to come?
That goes back to sharing and not being afraid to get out there and speak. I know that a lot of writers or people who want to write, they're introverts. I mean, that's what makes us great writers, right? We want to just sit behind our desk and write. But
Introvert,
the
yes.
irony is that you actually have to go out there and promote and publish. So as much as once your book is written, you have to still go out there and promote and share and find places that you can, give your message meaning.
Yes, promote people, promote. I said marketing is the hardest thing to do, but if you will take the magic, for sure it will give you a legacy. It will echo through your generation to generations to come. And Mr. Teresa Rodriguez, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Thank you, thank you. Will you be my feature author of the month of March? Because you are a best-selling author. I usually feature every month either award-winning or best-selling author. Okay. So if you
Great.
say yes, why not? So can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your books, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, come on board at Liberté Press and see all of the exciting things that we're doing. We'd love to have you. And for those ladies who really are ready to start that book project, join Liberté Ladies it's on our website. You can find it right at the top. And we can't wait to see you online.
Yes, people, less about Mr. Rosa Rodriguez because if you support her for sure, more and more empowering advocacy like this will rise. So, Miss Teresa, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Monica, people, see you soon.